appears that Fox host Sean Hannity is a gigantic coward. This is, of course, not at all surprising, but we find out more of the details of his cowardness, cowardly depravity, if you will. So let's get into it. According to a brief filed by Dominion Voting Systems in their defamation suit against Fox News, Hannity was brought into this, and apparently he did not want to actually tell the truth, push back on Donald Trump's election lies, falsehoods, whatever you want to call them, because he was afraid to lose viewers. Big surprise, right? So now, these emails cited by Dominion Voting Systems include Rupert Murdoch, as well as, former House Speaker Paul Ryan. Hey, who knew that we would see Paul Ryan back? I would assume that he was doing his P90X or whatever ridiculous, okay, it's not ridiculous exercise. No, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people that are pretty shredded from the P90X. But when I think ridiculous and P90X, I think of that photo. And I wish I had it right here so I could show you. But you all know the photo. He's got the red hat, and he's like, oh, Anyway, ridiculous. All right, so that's what's ridiculous. But I'm actually in favor of people who work out. I know. Weird. All right, so that was a strange aside, but more details, okay? On January 12th, Paul Ryan had a discussion with Rupert Murdoch and his son Lachlan, and said that he believed that some high percentage of Americans live in an alternate reality where the election was stolen. Gee, I wonder, why would he think that? I mean, what could be the cause? What could have been the cause of this entire thing? I mean, who could have started this? How could this have happened? Oh, right. Yeah, Fox News. Okay. All right. So now more quotes here from Paul Ryan, which are fantastic. He says they believe, and this is the group of high percentage of American voters who think the election was stolen, and did so because they got a diet of information telling them that the election was stolen from what they believe were credible sources. Yes! I mean, it's true. Yes, they did get a diet of disinformation, not information. Information implies that it's true and factual. We know that that is not the case. So Rupert Murdoch responded to Paul Ryan's email and says, "Thanks, Paul. Wake up call for Hannity." Oh my God. Are you saying now that Hannity is woke?
The wokers.
He's woke. He's woke because he had a wake up call. No, he didn't. But the relevant part says, who has been, I'm sorry, wake up call for Hannity, who has been privately disgusted by Trump for weeks, but was scared to lose viewers. So basically, Rupert Murdoch, in an email to Paul Ryan, is admitted, oh yeah, Sean Hannity was lying to the American people, lying to his viewers, because he didn't want them to go to Newsmax, OAN, or other weirdo right-wing blogs that are just trying to get some of that sweet, sweet conservative donor money from these gigantic think tanks, whose only goal, of course, is to get Republicans elected so they can lower their own taxes, essentially. And so, all right, Hannity chose a lie. He is a liar. And if he had any sort of scruples about lying, which I don't think he does, but apparently, according to Rupert Murdoch, he's like, oh, this guy is so disgusted with Donald Trump. But it actually does show you the cowardice inside of the Republican Party and the media that surrounds the Republican Party, like at Fox News. Because everybody, it feels like most people, like you could call them Republican elites, Republican officials, whatever, right? The people that are separated from the voters because they got all the power and they got the money and the infrastructure, things like that. They're all disgusted with Donald Trump. They hate the guy. They're like, oh my God, how could people like this loser, this ass? But here's the thing, though. One of the reasons that people like Donald Trump on the right, is because he doesn't sound like an elite. And let's be honest about that, right? I despise Donald Trump. We all know I do, okay? But at the same time, does he sound like a typical Washington person? No. I happen to think he oftentimes, sounds like a moron. That's because he is a moron. But that said, it's the content of what he says. But he also, again, sounds like an average person sometimes. He's very entertaining. Okay? People like that. People are entertained by that. And so he is not, yes, he's one of the elites because he's got all this power. He's also a con man of the highest order. But he doesn't sound like one of them. And so that's very endearing to people. And so people, that are higher up, Paul Ryan, Rupert Murdoch, like, I don't understand. I don't understand this guy. I don't understand the appeal. And actually, okay, fine, we're getting into power. Oh, okay, he became president, and he's giving us everything we want. Tax cuts, deregulation, okay, that's fine. But, oof, boy, I really wish he would dial it back. Like the open racism. We prefer our racism coded. Here in the Republican Party. We would like to kind of put a veneer on that and, not be so openly racist, misogynistic, and anti-Semitic. But, Donald Trump's just kind of ripped that whole veneer right off. It's out in the open. It's just kind of hanging there, swinging in the wind.
Can't let that happen.
That's exactly what the Republican Party was saying. Behind the closed doors, behind the scenes. But they felt like they had to lie to people. Not just on, about the election, of course, but even just liking and supporting the guy. Again, all these private conversations between high-level Republicans, media figures, they all despise this man. But they did it because, well, the money. And they didn't want the MAGA chuds, the MAGA audience, to turn their backs on them. Because then they lose their money. They lose their relevance. And so that's important. Yeah, as one of our commenters says, Trump gives off a veneer of authenticity. And he is genuinely funny, even though he is a terrible person. That is an absolutely apt, perfect description. Another viewer says, Trump's entertaining in the same way a clown is entertaining. Also, yeah, fairly correct. So, there's that, right? So, now, let's get back to the exchange here, because there's more to it. So, now, Ryan replied to this, and he said, quote, "The sooner we can put down the echoes of falsehoods from our side, the faster we can get onto principled, loyal opposition." Now, which we know, of course, is not going to be principled. But hey, opposition, fine. Hey, you can oppose a president in power if he's not on your side. That's totally fine. Totally fine. It's your opinion, right? But that's just it, right? Opinion. But what you can't do is go out and, again, knowingly spread falsehoods, especially about something as integral as an election. So now, the document added, quote, "I truly hope our contributors, along with Tucker, Laura, and Sean, get that and execute." Rupert replied back, "Just talked at length with CEO Suzanne Scott. Everything changed last Wednesday," and that was January 6th. "She thinks everyone is now disgusted and previous supporters brokenhearted." So look, we know that's not the case. Okay. So look, Tucker Carlson is getting access, thanks to Kevin McCarthy, to thousands and thousands of hours of surveillance footage from January 6th. Now, why is he, what is he going to do with it? Well, I think we already know. He's going to put together what is probably going to be a propaganda piece. Not probably. It'll definitely be a propaganda piece. What do I say? What do I say? Now, Tucker Carlson, of course, knows who his base is. He knows the people that watch him. He knows how to appeal to them, of course. He's doing the fake populist thing. But look, around 2/3 of Republicans still believe Biden stole the election. The majority of those watch Fox News, and they prefer to be lied to. Because if somebody actually comes out and says the truth, they reject it. It just gets kicked right out of the brain. They can't handle the truth. They melt down. Now, the filing also noted that Murdoch and Scott discussed the day before the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, having Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingraham issue a joint statement declaring that Biden had won the election and putting an end to the election conspiracy theories, which fueled that subsequent attack. He had hoped that those words would go a long way to stop the Trump myth that the election was stolen. Scott told Rupert that, quote, privately, they're all there, but I think this one's key. We need to be careful about using the shows and pissing off the viewers. At the end of the day, nobody made a statement. You didn't see anybody on Fox News go and make that statement before January 6th. That's what they were planning to do. Didn't happen. And so they lied to their audience for ratings, for ad money, all that. And again, at the end of the day, it all comes down to ratings and money, as well as, of course, promoting Republicans, which again, this is what Murdoch had also admitted. Hey, we are there to push Republicans. We are there to help them win. And in fact, one of the emails presented, and I've talked about this before, they were saying, okay, let's focus all of our efforts, all of our coverage on boosting the Republican Senate candidates in Georgia for the special election, which again, they did not win. So again, they are 100% for the Republican Party. And again, that was what it was designed to do. Fox News was literally created to be the propaganda arm of the Republican Party. And part of that, boosting their party, means lying to their audience about things that the Republicans are actually doing or actually believe. And that includes some of their own hosts lying about who they are as well and what they believe.